They say moving into a nursing home means your life is over. I say, that's where mine started again. Not in the way it used to be, but in a quieter, softer way. One that I didn't know I needed until I arrived. So if you think nursing homes are about giving up your life, let me show you why that might not be the truth at all. I still remember the smell of my old home, the one I lived in for more than 4 decades. The creaking floorboards, the way sunlight poured through the living room in the late afternoon, the photo frames lining the hall. It was all a part of me. So when the conversation about moving into a nursing home first came up, it felt like a betrayal, like I was being gently ushered off the stage of my own life. I resisted, fought it even. My daughter brought it up over tea, thinking she was easing into it. I saw right through her calm tone. Just for a visit, she said. But I knew what it meant. I smiled to be polite, but my insides were twisting. You see, we don't just live in a house. We become part of it. And when you think about leaving it, it feels like erasing yourself. But over time, I began to ask myself some hard questions. Was I really living in that house? Or was I just existing? I barely cooked anymore. The stairs had become enemies. Some nights I'd fall asleep in the armchair just because I didn't want to climb up to bed. And then there was the silence. Loneliness isn't just being alone. It's hearing the echo of your own voice more than anyone else's. It's forgetting the sound of laughter in your home. When I finally walked out of that house with my suitcase, I didn't feel brave. I felt broken. But deep down, a tiny part of me hoped, just maybe, this was a second chance. And if this message is hitting home, take a second to subscribe to the channel. We share stories, reminders, and tools to help you thrive through the second half of life. You're not alone here. You're part of something. The first thing I noticed was how quiet the nursing home wasn't. I had expected a sterile silence, the kind you see in movies, but instead, there was life. Wheelchairs humming down the hallway, nurses chatting, someone playing an old tune on the piano in the rec room. Still, I kept to myself those first couple of days. I didn't want to admit I was here now. I ate my meals quietly, head down, like a guest waiting to leave. Then came Clara. She was sharp, funny, wore bright pink lipstick, and had this way of saying your name like it mattered. She knocked on my door one morning and said, "Blueberry pancakes. Come on, I'll show you the good syrup." I followed her, half grudgingly, and ended up laughing more that morning than I had in months. We talked about the music we missed, how our grandkids text instead of call, and how hips are no joke after 70. That day broke the shell I didn't even know I had built around myself. I started going to community games, movie nights, even joined a little book club, and I wasn't pretending to enjoy it. I was enjoying it. There was something deeply human about sharing space with others who were also trying to figure out what the next chapter of their life looked like. We weren't just passing time. We were making it matter again. People think independence is about doing everything on your own, that asking for help means giving something up. But here's what I've learned. Real independence is about having the freedom to choose how you spend your energy. Back at home, I spent most of my days just trying to stay upright, managing medications, figuring out meals, doing laundry, remembering doctor's appointments. It all took more out of me than I wanted to admit. Now, I don't worry about any of that. There's a quiet dignity in being cared for, in knowing someone's watching out for you. I didn't lose my independence. I gained freedom. Freedom to paint again, even if it's just sunsets and wobbly trees. Freedom to sit outside with a cup of coffee and let the sun warm my face without guilt about chores undone. There's also freedom in being vulnerable, in saying, "I need help," and having someone respond with kindness instead of pity. I used to think I had to prove I was strong by doing it all myself, but strength, I've come to realize, is knowing when to let go. Before I moved here, days would go by where I wouldn't speak to a single soul. Sure, my daughter would call, the neighbor might wave, but most days, it was just me, my TV, and the sound of the fridge humming. Here, I'm surrounded by people who understand, who've lived long lives filled with love, loss, mistakes, and joy. We sit in circles and share stories. Some make us laugh until we cry. Some make us cry in a way that feels like healing. There's something sacred about late-night conversations in the common room, about someone remembering your birthday, about laughing over silly things like bad cafeteria soup or how nobody knows how to program the TV. These connections, they bring life back to the days. I don't feel invisible anymore. I feel seen. And it's not just the residents. The staff know us by name, know our stories, our habits. They don't just take care of our health, they care about us. It's strange to think I once feared this place, because now I can't imagine facing this part of life alone. If you're listening to this thinking about a loved one, or maybe even yourself, struggling with the idea of a nursing home, I want to tell you something straight from the heart. Let go of the guilt. Choosing a nursing home isn't giving up. It's giving towards something: safety, community, peace. We carry this idea that love means doing everything yourself, that caring for your aging parents or spouse means keeping them at home no matter what. But love also means knowing when it's time to let others help. My daughter cried when we finally signed the papers, said she felt like she failed me. She didn't. She gave me something I didn't know I needed, a chance to rest, to be looked after, to live with people, not just around them. And if you're older like me and afraid to make the move, I get it. It's scary. But don't let fear steal your peace. There is life here, real, joyful, connected life. Not perfect, but present. Give yourself permission to live this chapter fully. You deserve that. So, no. A nursing home isn't what I thought it would be. It isn't lonely halls and forgotten people. At least not here. Here, there's music drifting through the afternoons. There are new friends and stories and smiles exchanged over breakfast. There's time, the kind that feels slow and sacred. And there's a deep breath I didn't know I'd been holding, finally released. If you're facing this decision or helping someone who is, I hope this gave you a little peace, a little clarity. Because sometimes, the places we fear the most become the ones that heal us. Subscribe to Golden Truths for more gentle, honest reflections on life, aging, and everything in between. You're not alone. Not here. Not anymore.